two, one. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday episode of Full Metal Classic. I am your host, Cameron, the conductor Holzman. We got a group of 5 guys who have yet to be seen this year because we're early enough into the season that no one has been allowed to replay yet. So I'm going to introduce you to them quick, and then we're going to get going. First up, we have Mr. Malcolm. Hi.
Hey, I feel confident about this. I don't really have any competition here today. I think I'm going to win.
Immediately coming up the gate with some strong words, with some trash talk, looking surprised that is the man sitting next to him, and by next to him I mean, of course, on the other side of the world, and that is Mr. Dan Skip Allen. Dan, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. You're throwing a challenge down on Malcolm? Okay, all right. I know. After my last match, I know what you're saying.
Next, we have below me, not just in the panels, but also because he's from the French part of Canada, we have Mr. Jimmy Deary. Jimmy, how are you doing?
I'm good, Cameron. Thanks for having me. Let's have some fun.
Next to him, we have Mr. Hunter, the Hitman Chombliss. Hunter, how do you do?
I'm glad to be here again. Hopefully, I can finally get a win in the new. Let's go.
But certainly not least.
Are you okay, Jimmy?
Last but certainly not least, we have making his Full Metal Classic debut, Mr. Garth, the Viking McMurray. Garth, how do you do?
All right, this is my first time here. Glad to be here, and you might regret saying not the least.
All right, now that we have introduced everybody, we are going to get quickly into the rules for anyone watching at home. Round number 1 is going to work like this. We're going to have 8 questions in 8 different categories. You'll have 20 seconds to write your answer down on your whiteboard. If you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, you don't get a point. At the end of the 8 questions, whoever has the lowest score will get eliminated. If there's a tie, we will do a tiebreaker. Reminder that you have 3 repeats to use throughout the match, and please keep both hands on screen at all times. If I have to give you 4 hands on screen, it's essentially a 3-strike rule. If I have to keep reminding you, you will be removed from the match just because this is something we're trying to enforce more seriously now. Everyone understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Then with that, your first question comes in the category of animated films. Dan made a joke off screen that it was going to be something from the last 20 years, but haha, Dan, I picked a movie that came out 21 years ago. So with that, your first question is, what is the first name of the young boy who befriends the Iron Giant in The Iron Giant? Narrowly going out of the window of the time I was alive.
I'm writing when I don't have my board down, Cameron.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm wrong. I know this already.
And we are going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, and we will start with Malcolm.
I've only seen this once, but I've put Max.
That is incorrect. Dan.
I think I got Garth.
Oh, you're close. Jimmy.
Fuck.
Harry.
Also kind of close. Hunter.
Danny.
And Garth.
It would have been bad if I missed this.
Hogarth.
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 Yeah.
Hogarth.
Is the correct answer.
Hogarth.
So close. Your
And my dad builds
second
sculptures junk, so I love them.
question comes in the category of scores and soundtracks. Who holds the record for most wins for Best Original Score with a total of 9 awards? The record for most nominations is, I think, somewhere in the 50s.
52. John Williams, I believe.
There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Garth, pens down. And you're going to go Dan.
I think I'm wrong because I think he's got less than this, but I just said John Williams.
It's a fair guess. Jimmy.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Hunter.
John Williams.
Garth.
No perfect ground. John Williams.
And Malcolm.
Let's call us a clean sweep of incorrect answers, John Williams.
The correct answer is Alfred Newman.
All right.
Okay.
Alfred
I only
That's
know
my
that
second guess.
from Mad Magazine.
Not to be confused with Thomas Newman, the man that the Academy seems to refuse to give awards to, who has, I believe, 16 nominations and not a single win, which is insane. But your next question comes in the category of horror-ish. In what horror-ish film will you find the characters Columbia, Magenta, and Riff Raff? Malcolm getting a little smirk. Seems like he might know it.
Repeat the question, please.
That is Hunter's first repeat. In what horror-ish film will you find the characters Columbia, Magenta, and Riff Raff? This is a great movie as far as I'm concerned. Others might disagree with me. And we're going to go 5, 4, 3,
Read again.
repeat. That is Hunter's second repeat. In what horror-ish film will you find the characters Columbia, Magenta, and Riff Raff? I'll give you a hint. When I say Riff Raff, it is not referring to them calling Aladdin that in the film Aladdin.
Street rat. Riff raff.
The scariest, most horror-ish film of all time. 5,
There was a riff-raff.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll start with Jimmy.
What we do in the shadows?
Hunter.
I have Zombieland.
Garth.
You said horror-ish, so I went with The Craft.
Malcolm.
It's only my favorite musical of all time, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And Dan.
Yeah, Zombieland 2.
The answer is the Rocky Horror
Ah.
Picture Show.
Nice, Malcolm.
Your fourth question comes in the category of comedy. The chuckle pictures, or the films that are at least intended to make you laugh, and then sometimes they're dreadful. In Dude, Where's My Car? Sean William Scott's character spends the day obsessed with figuring out what item that he finds in his pocket.
Can
Hi.
you?
You broke up.
Yeah.
Can you repeat
Broke up.
that? You broke up for a second there.
Absolutely. In Dude, Where's My Car? Sean William Scott's character spends the day obsessed with figuring out what object he finds in his pocket. This is a movie. I've seen it. It's not good.
I have not seen this movie, but
It's
You're lucky.
yeah. 5, 4, 3. There's a scene where they try to get murdered by ostriches. 2, 1. Pens down. We'll start with Hunter.
car keys.
Garth.
A coupon?
Malcolm.
Knowing this movie, I know it's probably something raunchy, so I put vibrator.
Dan.
Who are you saying?
Dan.
I just put Pez dispenser.
And Jimmy.
A straw?
The answer, gentlemen, is a Rubik's Cube.
No.
Oh,
Spends
I'm
the
looking
whole
right
day
at it
trying to
on
figure
myself.
out how to solve it, and then he does, and like the world ends or something. I don't know. I don't remember how the movie goes. Your next question comes in the category of dramas. What is the first and last name of Lawrence Fishburne's character in Boys in the Hood? And I will state, I'm looking for the nickname that he commonly goes by in place of his first name.
I don't know.
Give you a bit of extra time on this one because of the clarification.
This is so wrong, but I'm putting a joke answer.
That's fine. It's always fun being funny.
I don't care.
And we are going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, and we will start with Garth.
Random guess, Skip Leonard.
Malcolm.
I know I've seen it. I just don't remember it. I put Ice Tray.
Dan.
I just put radio DJ guy.
Jimmy.
Morpheus?
And Hunter.
What up, big worm?
The answer is Furious Styles.
All right.
Okay.
Also,
That was,
also known as Jason Styles, but Furious Styles is.
that was my second guess.
All right, your next question comes in the category of movie quotes. In what film will you hear the quote, "There's only two things I hate in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch." I would like to point out that I myself am Dutch in heritage, so me picking this was kind of a self-burn on my own.
Finally, I'm gonna get on the board.
And we're gonna go 5
Repeat.
for Hunter using his last repeat. In what film will you hear the quote, "There's only two things I hate in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch"? It's such
That's
a
a
good
quote.
quote, and it's so much better when it's read in the voice of the actual film.
God, I hope I'm not
We are gonna go 5,
messing this up.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Malcolm.
It's Austin Powers Gold Member.
Dan.
I got it wrong. Inglorious Bastards.
Jimmy.
Austin Powers and Gold Member.
Garth.
I got the wrong Austin Powers.
Ooh, and Hunter.
I had Spaceballs.
It was, in fact, Austin Powers Gold Member. It is said by Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Which, hearing that quote in Michael Caine's voice just makes it so much better. All right, gentlemen, your penultimate question comes in the category of new releases. This is the question that I panicked 5 minutes before the show because I realized I hadn't written a question. And your question is, who plays the title character in Where Do You Go, Bernadette?
What? Oh, wow. Okay.
Received a wide release. This movie was nominated for a couple of awards. None of them were Oscars, but it's notable enough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Dan.
Hunter, man, this brings back memories, buddy. Cape Blanchett.
Jimmy.
Wrong. Cara Delevingne.
Hunter.
Nothing.
Garth.
Amy Adams.
And Malcolm.
I don't know where she went, but I think she went to Middle Earth, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett is the correct answer, and she actually went to
Alaska.
Antarctica. And she also went into a terrible film because that was not a good movie. Your final question in round 1, as always, comes in the category of actors and actresses. Which actress has played a superhero, a U.S. senator, a mute woman, and a television producer? As of right now, the only person guaranteed a spot in round number 2 is Malcolm.
Oh! A superhero.
And we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2,
Repeat.
1. Repeat from Jimmy at the last second. That is your first repeat. Which actress has played a superhero, a U.S. senator, a mute woman, and a television producer? It's a little tricky. as these questions usually are. 5, 4, 3,
I'm completely off.
2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Jimmy.
Okay, and Beckham.
Hunter.
Linda Carter.
Who?
Linda Carter.
Garth.
Scarlett Johansson.
Malcolm.
Holly Hunter.
Dan.
I got Annette Bening.
The correct answer is Holly Hunter. She
man.
Oh, I changed it.
She
Who
played a
did her?
superhero in the Incredibles movies. She played a
Oh.
U.S. senator in Batman v Superman.
That's
She
right.
played a
The
mute
piano.
woman in The Piano, and she played a television producer in Broadcast News.
Yep.
Figure out the superhero one.
I forgot she was in the piano.
She won an Oscar for it, Malcolm.
That's why I wrote Anna Beckham, because I followed the piano.
Oh, right. So at the end of round 1, we have
Wow.
Malcolm in the lead with 4 points,
Nice.
followed by Dan, Jimmy, and Garth, all with 1. And unfortunately, with a score of 0, we will be saying goodbye to Hunter. Hunter, thanks for coming out. Thanks for playing, but I'm going to have to take you off screen. Take care, brother.
All right, guys. Later.
I mean, ironically, I changed from Anna Paquin to Holly Hunter.
There.
I did the opposite.
Wow.
That's
And I thought of
all
Holly
it
Hunter, but I couldn't think of the
takes.
hero. I forgot.
You wouldn't have included anything with that. I thought Annette Bening was a couple of those. That's why I went with her.
There's always people that can fit a couple, but not everyone fits all 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that, we're going to get into round 2. Round number 2 is going to work like this. I have a wheel with the numbers 1 through 6 on it. The player in the lead, being Malcolm, is going to get to pick 2 numbers. Everyone else is going to get to pick 1. Then we're going to spin the wheel. If your number comes up, you get to pick the category that we play in round 2. But there's going to be one number that no one has picked. If that number comes up, then we are automatically going to play the secret category. If you choose to play the secret category, questions are worth 2 points. But if the secret category comes up on the wheel, then the questions are still only worth 1. Any questions before we get going? All right. Malcolm, give me 2 numbers between 1 and 6.
I'm going to go 4, and I'm going to go 1.
Dan, you got on the call first, so I'm going to go to you next.
I'll take 2.
2. Garth, you have more repeats than Jimmy, so I'll go to you next.
I'll go
I
3.
got to find some way to break this tie.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, Garth, did you say a number?
3.
3. And Jimmy, do you want 5 or 6?
6.
All right, that means 5 is our magic number. And we are going to spin the wheel. And it is going to land on 1. That's going to be Malcolm, the man in the lead,
Malcolm.
gaining the chance to extend it even further. Malcolm, once I'm done erasing these numbers off of this whiteboard, I'm going to read you your categories. And they are Channing Tatum, Taron Egerton, School's Out, which is movies that at least partly take place on the last day of school. Category 4, movies with 4 in the title. The artist formerly known as new releases. Or if you don't like any of those, you can pick the secret category. Reminder that the secret category, each question is worth 2 points.
Taron Egerton, Malcolm. Taron Egerton.
Anyone who shouts out a category, I'm not picking it.
Ooh.
Channing Tatum.
I'm going to go with the artist formerly known as new releases.
The artist formerly known as new releases. So for those who aren't aware, these are questions that when I wrote them were new releases questions, but enough time has passed that these questions are now just unusable.
But just releases.
They are just releases. Exactly correct. All right. In 2018's Tag, a reporter from what newspaper follows the group in their efforts to tag their friend Jerry? Fun fact about this movie, while filming it, Jeremy Renner broke both of his arms, and they had to CGI his arms for half the film because they were in casts or flopping all around. And we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Malcolm.
New York Times.
Dan.
Washington Post.
Jimmy.
Also the New York Times.
And Garth.
New York Times.
The answer is the Wall Street Journal.
Boo.
Your next question. In Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, what secret is Brad Chang forced to reveal to his father, Officer Han Chang? I'll reread that because I stumbled through it. In Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, what secret is Brad Chang forced to reveal to his father, Officer Han Chang? I will say this much. This movie is very bad, but this actor's performance is quite good, I think. It is the only reason that it was not my least favorite movie of 2018. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We will start with Dan.
I don't know, man. I didn't like this movie, so I get it out of my head. So I just said he's gay.
And Jimmy.
I also said that.
And Garth.
And I also said that.
And Malcolm.
I'm pretty sure it's the correct answer because I also said that.
That is the correct answer.
And I actually enjoyed it myself.
It's an interesting concept that just did not end up working out. But with that, your third question in this category. In 2018's Blockers, what actress plays Lisa, a mother who attempts to stop her daughter from having sex on prom night? I was not a fan of this movie.
Pluckers.
Now this I did like.
This one just went a bit too far for me, but I like John Cena in it. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Excuse me.
1. Pens down. We'll start with Jimmy.
I have no idea. Jennifer Aniston.
Garth.
Wrong guess. Elizabeth Banks.
Malcolm.
I didn't get it. I thought I just put John Cena in a wig.
And Dan
Leslie Mann.
is the correct answer.
Nice.
Good one.
And your final question. What letter is used as the name of the spirit who inhabits a new individual's body every day in the 2018 film Every Day?
Oh.
You
One
got
chance
a 1
out
in
of
26
26.
shot. You can guess a letter. This movie looked terrible from the trailers, and I did not see it, despite the fact that I'm big on cheesy, dumb teen movies. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Garth.
M.
Malcolm.
A.
Dan.
X.
And Jimmy.
Okay.
And Malcolm is the only one to get it correct. The answer was, in fact, A.
Son of a bitch.
I think my favorite is I wrote this as a multiple choice question, and my multiple choices were A, B, B, C, C, or D, D.
I had A and I changed it to X too.
All right, that will bring an end to our second round, and the scores look like this. In the lead with 6 points, we have Malcolm, followed by Dan with 3 points, and we have a tie between Jimmy and Garth, both at 2. So, we are going to do a tiebreaker. Malcolm, I want you to pick either box office or Rotten Tomatoes. Sorry, Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm gonna go box office.
Box office. And Dan, movie number 1 or movie number 2?
Movie number 1.
All right, gentlemen. I need you to get as close as you can to the worldwide box office of Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back? And yes, this was theatrically released, so it counts.
Worldwide.
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 Of Pokemon, the first movie. You do have to write it down, Jimmy.
I know. I'm thinking about
Okay.
it.
You got about 10 seconds. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Jimmy
44 million.
and Garth.
I accidentally left out a zero. I wrote down 4 million. I meant 40 million.
And your winner, moving on to the
Yep.
next round. Sorry, I just want to point out, Andrew, what? No. So much. So much money. This movie came out in 1998. Like, no. Moving on to the next round. Closest to the correct answer of 172.7 million is going to be Jimmy.
I wrote in the wrong number. All right.
Garth, thanks for coming out. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for having
We're
me.
going to have to take you off. Take care, brother. Hope to see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you very much.
And
Wow,
with that,
100.
we're down to 3.
172. You said?
172.7 million. Dude, Pokemon's big. Like, Pokemon's a big deal worldwide. And yeah, Peggy was actually very close. 187 million was her guess. Well done. But all right, this brings us into round 3. Round number 3 works like this: 5 whiteboard questions. If you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, you don't get a point. We go until either all 5 questions have been asked or one player has mathematically eliminated the rest. Malcolm and Dan, you both have 3 repeats. Jimmy, you have 2. Everyone ready to go?
Yep.
Ready to go in negative.
I mean, you could still theoretically come back from negative, but yeah. Your first question. The film Stick It revolves around what sport? We, of course, have discourse going on in the chat with Tony saying that Peggy smells and Peggy saying, F you, Tony, because you gotta love that.
Repeat.
So, that is Dan's first repeat. The film Stick It revolves around what sport? I was about to put a comment on the screen from Andrew, but then I realized that it gives away the answer, so I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Malcolm.
Gymnastics.
Dan.
Gymnastics.
Jimmy.
Not gymnastics.
Skateboard. The answer was, in fact, gymnastics. The comment I was about to put on was, it's not called gymnastics, which I believe is a quote from the film, but I could be wrong. Your second question. I'm just going to switch out my marker a moment because this one's dying. In The Pacifier, Vin Diesel becomes concerned about one of the children when a prop for the school's musical is found in his locker. What musical is he in?
Ah.
Andrew Barr saying it's the tagline because, of course, Andrew Barr knows the tagline for 2004's Stick It, starring Missy Peregrine, and I want to say Jeff Bridges, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I could have told you what the item was.
4. What musical has that item? 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will go to Dan.
I put The Sound of Music.
Malcolm.
I put Grease.
And Jimmy.
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music is the correct answer. The item that they find is actually an
Nazi
SS
song.
armband.
Yep.
What was the item?
It is an SS armband. Yeah, family films. Woo! Your next question. And the score currently is Jimmy is at 2, Dan is at 5, and Malcolm is at 6. Your question is, in what film will you hear the following quote? Marriage is like an unfunny, tense version of Everybody Loves Raymond, but it doesn't last 22 minutes. It lasts forever.
That sounds familiar.
I'll give you a hint. This quote is not also from Austin Powers Gold member. 5, 4, 3.
Repeat.
Malcolm using his first repeat. In what film will you hear the following quote? Marriage is like an unfunny, tense version of Everybody Loves Raymond, but it doesn't last 22 minutes. It lasts forever. Everybody Loves Raymond, of course, being that show with Ray Romano, question mark? I think I'm right.
Yeah.
Right. From Ice Age, that guy? Yeah. 5,
Yay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Jimmy.
I said the winning singer.
Dan.
I don't know. I have no clue. I've just put something's got to give.
And Malcolm.
Meet the Parents, but it does sound familiar.
Meet the Parents is incorrect, as are the others. The answer is Knocked Up.
Yeah.
It is,
Fair
I
enough.
believe, Paul Rudd in Knocked Up. All right. Nope, everyone is still mathematically in this, actually. So if Jimmy gets both these next two right and Malcolm gets both these next two wrong, Jimmy will win. The caveat to that being Dan also, I believe, has to get both of these next two wrong. Yeah.
Let's
we'll
start
figure
by
it out.
getting it right.
Yeah, let's start by getting things right. Your penultimate question in today's match. What is the subtitle of the Nicolas Cage starring Bad Lieutenant film?
Well, was fun.
And we are going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Malcolm.
I'm pretty sure it's called Bad Lieutenant. Why is this a movie?
Incorrect. Jimmy.
Bringing up the dead or down or whatever. It's not the correct one.
And Dan.
Port of Call, New Orleans.
And with that, Dan takes the lead. And also with that, unfortunately, Jimmy has been eliminated. Jimmy, you are free to hang out and answer this last question. It all comes down to this. Here's how it works. If Malcolm gets this right and Dan gets it wrong, Malcolm wins. Any other layout and Dan will win. Gentlemen, your final question. In the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs franchise, what is Steve the Monkey's favorite food?
Steve the Monkey.
Steve the Monkey, voiced by Neil Patrick Harris. Fun fact. And we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. This is it. We'll start with Jimmy.
Just for giggles. Bananas?
It's a valid guess. Malcolm.
Yeah, I went for the obvious bananas, but I'm probably wrong.
And Dan.
I went for bananas as well.
And your winner, Dan, Skip, Allen. The answer was gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Oh,
Wow. Unbelievable. I can't believe this.
Uh,
I can't believe I actually won one of
Dan,
these.
you've been playing this for a long. This is your first win, isn't it?
Yep. Malcolm was going for his first win too.
Oh yeah.
Me and him were neck and neck for our first
Yeah.
win, Malcolm. I feel bad beating you because I know how much you've been wanting this, Malcolm.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to some very quick post-match interviews. Dan, you've been playing for a long time, and you got that first win. How does it feel?
I mean, honestly, it feels great because I have been playing, and the way the round one was going, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time getting into round two, let alone getting into round three. And it just I happen to know one question here or one question there. Like Leslie Mann was a big question. I knew that everybody else didn't know, and I knew a couple of these third round questions, which really helped me. And Malcolm didn't know a couple of them, which dropped him down a little bit. I mean, I can't say enough about Malcolm, man. I thought he was going to win. I really thought Malcolm was going to get his first win today.
And speaking of Malcolm, you were so close. You were so close. Still, you put up a great performance, losing by 1 point. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean it was a good. I mean, this is the first time I've actually been in the first place going into round three. It just the questions just didn't go my way. And I was almost going to use a repeat for that last one because I did think it was too obvious for it to be bananas, but I just couldn't think of what the correct answer was and just didn't get repeated out in time. But I mean, someday I'll win one. It'll come my way eventually, but
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, we have Jimmy. You made it to round three. That's nothing to be ashamed of. How do you feel?
Well, the one thing I have that Malcolm doesn't is I won one.
Ooh.
Surprisingly, I won one with 0. No, not 0 points. But today I got 0, so all good, all good. Congrats, Dan. I thought Malcolm was going to win the whole thing, but
So
one
did I.
question changed the whole thing.
So did I, man. I mean, just sometimes it's what you know, and I was a lot of things I didn't know in round one, and as the other rounds went along, I knew a little bit of each of those rounds, which got me back into the match.
You should have taken the secret category.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I think we're going to get going. So I've been Cameron Holzman, and on behalf of Dan, Malcolm, Jimmy, Garth, and Hunter, thank you for watching. Have a good Sunday, everybody. I can't find the end broadcast. There's the button.